Greetings, Tezos Nation. Welcome to another edition of TezTalks Live. I'm Stu from the Tezos Commons. Joining me today is Nikolai Mitev, co-founder and CEO of Sugarverse. Sugarverse, for those who might not know, is the Tezos-powered mobile gaming system with a self-sustaining play and earn economy. Nikolai is here today to tell us all about the latest developments in the Sugarverse and the part that Tezos is playing in bringing it to life. Hi, Nikolai. How are you right now, and where's the weather? Where are you right now, and how is the weather?
Hey, Stu. Nice to meet you. And I'm glad to be guest of your podcast. Currently, I'm in Sofia, Bulgaria, and the weather here is perfect summer. So it's nice currently, but yeah.
Very nice. To get the ball rolling, can you tell us a bit about your background and your personal journey into the exciting world of blockchain technology?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been in the crypto space since 2017, and I'm angel investor in numerous crypto projects, many of them in the gamify space. And back in the early days, it was like Wild West, as there were no more than hundreds of crypto projects. And later on, the space evolved exponentially. And also, my past background is in the gaming, tech, and gambling industry.
Very cool. And that journey, of course, has led you becoming co-founder and CEO of Sugarverse, as I mentioned off the top. I briefly introed Sugarverse, but for those who might not be familiar just yet, how exactly do you describe what the Sugarverse is?
So I should start earlier before we founded Sugarverse. We have a Web2 gaming studio, which is called Access Software, and it's founded in 2006. And we have published over 10 games so far, played by over 60 million players. And now we are refocusing to Web3 gaming with Sugarverse. So we're building game saga of 5 games, and those games will be mobile casual games. First one, which is already per private beta ready, it's a match 3 PvP game, and you can imagine like Candy Crush.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever played that?
I have.
Yeah. So imagine that, but on steroids, and it's not 2-player multiplayer, but 3-player multiplayer.
Ooh, okay. Okay. It's an interesting concept. Can you walk us through the origin story of Sugarverse and what you made you decide to dedicate your time to bringing it to life?
Yeah, absolutely. So we see huge potential in the Web3 gaming, and we predict the space to grow exponentially because with the first games like Axie and Stepan, we saw profit potential for both the players and the gaming studios are multiple times better than the ad model currently we're doing and the in-app payment model we're doing in the normal Web2 games. And honestly, the current ad model with all those video ads, they're killing the real fun in the games. So I have invested a lot in the gamify companies, and I have played and talked a lot with the Web3 players about them. And we will keep seeing the same things and the same answers. That there is a lack of good gameplay, so bad gameplay, and also it's too complicated to onboard new users and to users to start playing those games. And last and not at least, the sustainable reward systems behind them, and they're not sustainable.
So you mentioned the reward systems there. I understand there's a strong play and earn element to the gameplay experience of Sugarverse. What exactly can players earn, and what do they need to do to get it?
So currently, we're using a new game mechanic that it's not used in the Web3 games for now, but it has been used in other industries. So those industries are the iGaming industry where I came from. And these mechanics, we say the people that they're losers and winners from the scratch. So from the beginning, all the players know that. And because of that, they know where their rewards in door evaluation are coming from, and that their rewards in door evaluation they're gonna not gonna drop in time. So because most of the games now, their the rewards are dropping from, let's say, from the first month, they're dropping from very good rewards to in the 6 months, it's like zero. So what we're doing is incentivizing also those people, even though they lose 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 games in a row, to come and play again and again. And how we're doing it is with the spin to win mechanics. And this spin to win mechanics gives you like a spinning wheel. I think we can show it later on. And this spinning wheel gives you a different multiplier. And this different multiplier incentivize people to come and play again, because in the 10th game, for example, they can play for the biggest reward, which is, let's say, 1,000 multiplier, which is, for example, $100,000, and they can win it, and they can return back all their investments until now. So this is how we're doing and using new game mechanics and game economies in our games.
That's a pretty big prize if you're talking about $100,000 being on the line with a spin.
Yeah, imagine that for playing a 10 minutes game.
Sounds pretty good.
I think it would be very good for marketing purposes also.
I bet it would. I mean, it's certainly not the first play and earn gaming project we've seen here in the blockchain space. What makes Sugarverse different from the offerings that we've seen before? You mentioned Axie earlier, for example.
Yeah. So we have in the same time experience in Web3 and Web2 space. So we have this gaming studio which has a lot of users, and we can reach those 60 million game ecosystem. And also we have the knowledge how to make fun games, because in normal world, if you don't have a fun game, you're never gonna be downloaded, and people are, and you will have literally zero retention rates. And those are metrics that are very important. And also we have also experience in the Web3 space, as me and the other co-founders, we have other crypto projects launched in the past bull runs. They have like real usage, real use cases, and they're still active, of course. And we know what is the best in between. So we want to make games that are good enough for the Web2 players, and after we hook them in our games, we want to educate and to convert them to Web3 players.
Okay. What was the inspiration for the candy theme?
The inspiration for the KMD team came from one of our past games in the Web2 space, the most popular, Lady Popular. And we have seen that there are not so many games that are built for female population, female gamers. And this is insane, because 40% of all gamers are females. And we wanted to make our games and our new game Saga to be unisex, so it's interesting for both sexes, and also for a lot of regions around the world. And as what we have done with our past games is to make like different our games in different languages, so in local languages, so we can reach much more people. And also we insert different art. So for example, we can insert different art for the MENA region and the players in the MENA region. So because we know what they already like.
Okay. I know you touched on this a little bit already, but can you explain what you mean when you say that Sugarverse has a quote unquote self-sustaining play and earn economy?
Yeah, so the concept is that we will never have we will have enough like let me start again. So we don't need only the fundraised money and the treasury of the company to sustain the rewards for all the players, and we're making the players to pay the rewards for the winners of those rewards. And we have calculated with our models that we need just 1,000 daily active users, that this model is gonna still work, and the evaluation of the rewards is gonna be still the same. And in this case, you don't need constant flow of new users like this, but there could be like drops of the new users, but it's important to have users that are going to play your game in the long run. And this is what we mean for self-sustaining planner economy.
And 1,000 sounds like an attainable number.
Yeah, if you have like 1 million downloads.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as far as Tezos' involvement, what part does Tezos play in the Sugarverse experience?
So they're our main partner, and we're gonna launch on Etherlink, which is like the Tezos EVM chain. And we want to showcase what exceptional blockchain is Etherlink and how good it is. They're uh, helping us with the marketing. They're helping us with a lot of partnerships that they provide, and they believe and they know what we're building, and that what we're building is special and it's something new. It's not like most of the games that are currently emerging in the Web3 space, but it's something that it could potentially become a very big project with a lot of users, and many other projects are start copying our game economy.
Okay. And what made you and your team decide that Tezos and its ecosystem was the right sort of blockchain ecosystem to partner with in building out your vision for Sugarverse?
Yeah, so we were talking with we have been talking with a lot of blockchain partners, and we know that we should have one. And then the Tezos team looks like the most interested first of all, and also we see the potential there when we start with the Etherlink, with the brand new chain, which is EVM. It's super cool, and when we start with them and to be their flagship project, and if we have like a successful launch with a lot of downloads there, we will help them like also bring many more projects into the ecosystem, but also they will help us with their ecosystem, and their ecosystem will targetly start using our applications, and this will help us with the early users, which are very important for those kind of apps.
Okay. And I'd like to get into the actual gameplay of experience of Sugarverse a little bit. But first, can we have a look at what Sugarverse looks like?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Welcome to Sugar Match. Explore and battle. Spin the wheel. Make matches. Load up your boosters. And win big. Sugar Match. Coming soon.
Very cool.
Thank you.
It looks like the UI is exclusively this is designed for mobile.
Yeah, absolutely. We have started in the early part of our journey with the Web2 Studio. Back in the days, it was most popular to have like a web-based game, and after that, it gets older. And after that, after the browser-based games, we go to the Facebook games. They were for some time very popular, and after that, mobile was the best one. And you can see that there are like 3 billion players in mobile games, and any other console or PC or platform uh, is much lower.
Okay. And you mentioned that you are currently in a private beta phase.
Yeah.
What has the feedback been like from the people who've played the game so far?
Yeah, so there is we have tested it with around like 1,000 testers. So just to see what are their reactions, and there are some bugs that should be improved, of course. But they generally were very hooked in the game, and how the game flow goes, and they like it. Yeah, I can say they most of them said to me that they would pay, for example, $1 to take part in this journey, and to be part of a sugar match.
Okay. And you said earlier that this game is part of a 5-game saga. Is this the one that we just looked at? That's the first in that saga.
Yes,
First
yes.
time.
This is the first game. It's called Sugar Match, and we're starting with it. We're intentionally building casual games, and this game is intentionally chosen to be our like first game, which is gonna be the most important one. So because puzzle games and match 3 games are very popular. So puzzle games are like 40% of all mobile games played.
Mm.
Match 3 games are most of them, and everybody already knows how to play those games. So it's very important when you start building a Web3 game to have like a simple onboarding, and the things that the normal person is gonna teach to start playing those games is minimum. Because if you have like a large funnel at the top, you will get much more like retention numbers and much more users that are not gonna delete the app after 10 seconds.
And I guess it's an opportunity to sort of bring them into the Sugarverse ecosystem and get them familiar with the brand, leading toward the release of the subsequent 4 games.
Yeah. The idea is that we're gonna like push with other branches of the casual gaming. I'm not talking about hyper casual. Here we're talking about casual gaming because we have a cool game lore behind all the games that we're building, because we want to have like to convert our players from players to fans. This is like the next step. Like if you think long term, and we like to think long term because this has made success for us in the past.
Mm.
And so we would start like another like a racer game, like also a runner game, and different types of casual games that also because we want to stay decentralized as much as we can. We're gonna ask the community what type of game, for example, would you like to see in future. And in this way you're building one community, one ecosystem that maybe they don't like puzzle games but match 3 games, but they like the what we're building, they like the team, like the game economy behind it, and they will jump on it.
Okay. And that was the next thing I was going to ask. Like, once the Sugarverse proper is unleashed upon the world, what types of things are people going to be able to do in that space?
In the Sugar Match game.
In this, I mean, the Sugar Match game.
Yeah.
It sounds to me, if I'm understanding correctly, that's part of a larger vision for the Sugarverse, where you're going to be able to enter the Sugarverse and do multiple things within that space.
Yeah, absolutely. So the cool thing here, and we think it should be done like this. We're gonna have like one token and one NFT series for all the games. So you could use your NFT character for every game, and this would add additional value to your hero, for your NFT, also for the token. And you can change, let's say for example in the one game you have three boosters, so they will be different for every NFT and the different set. And in the other game you will have another type of boosters, and this will make your journey and your experience in our games different. And it will add a lot of other, like, because there should be like game progressions in all the games. And if you have like a big game progression, it would be cooler for the users that are gonna be like let's say your hardcore users, and that are gonna be like the most paying users.
Mm, okay. And just point of clarification. So you mentioned that there's NFTs and you mentioned that there's a token. Is it going to be necessary for me to have either of those things in order to get involved with the game?
Not at all. We want to push barriers minimum, as I already said. So games would be free to play, and you can start. You can jump in on the single player campaign mode, where you can educate about the game, all the levels, all the bosses, all the boosters, everything. And after that, if you will be most probably earn some part of our tokens for rewarding you that you spend so much time and seeing all this and playing this game. And you can jump in the multiplayer mode. But of course, if you lose, let's say 3-5 times, you will lose all your tokens, and you should come and buy back those. Or if you win, you probably want to spend it elsewhere, and to withdraw them, you need to go to your wallet that we have already created for you without your understanding, and just create an exchange account and move your funds there and withdraw your funds. It's either way, but it's you should like first hook the player, and after that you should put all those crypto and web3 mechanics in front of him. And in terms of the NFTs, it's not like something that you will need 100%, but for the people that wants different and different gameplay and to see all the features in the game, it would be necessary for them. So it's like normal in-app purchase if you think about this.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, like the key is hooking people to begin with, right? Having a fun to play game that people want to keep playing, and then you can work towards them becoming more involved, right?
Yeah, the game development is going like this, or at least at our place. When we start the game and we start marketing, new users are coming to our games. We see which parts of the games are most interesting for those people and where is the most interactions. And then we start developing also on those interactions, like making other seasons, making other like arts items, etc., etc. So we already have the data which is most interesting for those people. If it's like a brown mode or it's like a guild mode or anything that we see is interesting, and we start in this direction to develop so we can bring more and more users.
And to that end, as you mentioned earlier, like your team, the team at XS Games has been involved with some pretty successful mobile gaming projects already. Con Wars and Lady Popular. I think the number you mentioned was 60 million. What learnings from those projects were brought forward while you were creating Sugarverse and working towards bringing it to market?
Yeah, I could say definitely that this is like also part of my other co-founders, that their part was mainly to develop those games and to bring them to life and to make them like very popular releases. And I think the main thing is that you must be like proactively looking for where to develop your game, because to make a game it's normally like 1 year, 2 years, and the game is like not so popular after that. But if you want to sustain like multiple years and to have like new players all the time and they coming month after month, you should have also marketing, but also you should think about where those users interested to spend their money, as I already said, and you should develop in those parts. And it's like always you should be with the things that are cool now, and you should be familiar with them.
Yeah. Okay. So when will it be possible for our viewers to download this game and explore the Sugarverse for themselves?
This is a hard question, for any IT company or developer, it's the hardest one.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably gonna be the first quarter of next year. So we're currently developing a lot of things, like the art is already done, but we're doing like animations, because animations for those games that are not that they are simple, like the game is not very like prolonged. It's not very with a lot of things to make there, but to make it interesting you should put like the coolest animations you got, and the coolest sound, etc. So you need to polish the game. But I think definitely Q1 next year is gonna be the time that we will be publishing the game.
Okay. And in the meantime, what's the best way for us to keep up to date on Sugarverse's progress?
Yeah, this is important for all those people that could be potentially interested and playing our games for fun. So you can check our Telegram and Twitter. We're very active there, so we're also always publishing some new things that are interesting for the gamify space, not only about Sugarverse. And I could say that we're very close to our public launch on some launch pads, but I won't say their names currently, as we will wait a day to announce this, and we will be very soon on exchanges.
Okay. This is all great stuff so far. I'm really excited to learn more. But before we dive into the nitty gritty, are you ready for the world famous TezTalks lightning round?
Yeah, come on.
Great. Then it's officially lightning round time. Remember, there are no wrong answers. This is just for fun, so our viewers can get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
Yeah,
Are you a night owl or an early riser?
night owl,
Exercise or naps?
exercise,
Chicken or fish?
fish,
What's your favorite country to visit for a vacation?
Spain.
Very nice. If you were elected king of the world, what's the first thing you would do?
Give freedom and bread to everyone.
Very magnanimous of you. Name one thing you will never do again.
I won't drink 2 bottles of vodka in one same night.
That sounds like a good decision. What is the secret to happiness?
This is simple. Family.
Family, very nice. Do you have any pets?
No.
And finally, what is your favorite thing to do on a rainy day?
Just work.
Usually I say that was a great answer, but in this case, I'm going to say no. Aside from that, those are all excellent answers. This concludes the TezTalks lightning round. Let's get back into it. Now that we've talked about Sugarverse, I was hoping to get your thoughts on the current state of gaming in the blockchain space more broadly. First off, what is the current state of blockchain-powered gaming as you see it? Like, what stage are we at in this journey?
So I think it's in the very early stage, even though some people in crypto see like 1 year for a too long period of time. But trust me, if in terms of developing a game, it's not. And I think for how much years do we have like crypto gaming? 4 or 5 years, something like this, yeah?
Maximum, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's very early stage. So this is only early users, 1% of the total users, total players. And the thing is just rolling now, and there are much more people and much more game studios and much more funds coming to the Web3 gaming. And I think in the future, we will see those like super apps, like for example, Stepan. I think at one point of time, for their quarter, they made more money than all fitness apps out there. Yeah, so this is like nuts. And also Axie Infinity, also they made like billions of revenue, I think, and those are like incredible numbers in terms of the normal gaming, and we see this potential. I think many more see this potential, but it's up to time. We should have more time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do see the potential of this, and gaming has long been recognized as an important use case for blockchain technology. But despite a couple of successful projects that have generated revenue that you mentioned already, we haven't really seen any releases that have driven a massive amount of interest. Why do you think that is?
I think the interest will come after there is like an app that is super simple for Web2 users. They don't see much of the interactions of the Web3 world, like where is your passkey, you should sign all your transactions. But this is already in many games, and I think it's up to the fundamental thinking of all the people around the world world, and they're coming more natives, crypto natives, and they believe that maybe the worst thing for gaming now is that, and Web3 gaming is that they think it's still a Ponzi scheme.
Mm.
And this is one of the things that we want to improve and to change this bad name of the industry, and to potentially make it with our games, and to provide this that it could be done in another way.
Okay. And I mean, you mentioned a big one, which is sort of mistrust of blockchain technology in general. What other barriers do you think we need to overcome in bringing blockchain powered gaming into the mainstream?
Yeah, so I think the main thing is gameplay also, because current games, they're more about. I have seen some games that they're more about the main thing is the earning potential, or the main, and it makes the game super boring, because there is not a lot of development after the game is released, and those things should be done properly.
Mm.
And you must have different seasons for those games, and to evolve your game. And I think there are not so many big studios also in the gaming, in the Web3 gaming. Maybe some of them has tried with one or two games, but not the big studio built their games there, but they have invested in some other branches of their big studio. But I believe it's a matter of time to come to many of the normal players.
Okay. And you've mentioned a couple of times that you feel like the gameplay experience, the game being fun, the game being enjoyable, the game hooking people is a big priority. And to hear you talk about your game, it sounds like you believe that you've accomplished that with Sugarverse. And the next thing to do is let people know that. So what are your plans for marketing Sugarverse as you work towards its actual release?
Yeah. So first of all, we're pushing the Web3 marketing, because we know that it's very important to have all those people before even you release. So it's like a pre-marketing before the full blow release, and the full blow marketing that is coming with all the ads in the app stores. And we are pushing in different directions with partners, with KOLs, with the normal stuff that are we are gonna do also a big airdrop for all those that support us early on, and are coming to the Tezos ecosystem and to the Sugarverse ecosystem.
Okay. The airdrop that you just mentioned, how can people get involved with that?
So we're just gonna release all the rules, and I will stick to it for a secret for a while. And if they're following our project, they will definitely know how to join it.
And as you said, the best place to follow your project is on your Discord?
On Twitter and
On Twitter.
Telegram.
And what's your handle on Twitter?
Real Sugarverse. Real. I think
At Real Sugarverse?
it's Real Sugarverse.
Okay.
This way. Just message you.
Okay. So you mentioned we've already talked about making sure that the gameplay is on point and the gameplay is enjoyable. We've touched on the sort of bring to marketing strategy and the things that you're doing to pre-market the product and get people excited about it. What else do you think needs to be in place to generate the kind of success that you've had with Con Wars and with Lady Popular for Sugarverse?
I think the team is very important, because many teams I have seen, and I have personally invested in many of those, they're not native in the gaming space. So there are a lot of things that are done by such a way that it's like a rules, and they're not doing it. And those are small things, but when you multiply all of those, they mean something. So the team behind the game should be already sticked together and make a game. And I can say that we can put the best talents from Access Software to Sugarverse as on they're already put it, but we're gonna put more of them in the coming months, so we can achieve this launch in the Q1.
Okay. And you, because of your previous releases, you already kind of have an audience for this that you can speak to as you're marketing Sugarverse.
Yep.
But as far as us who might not be familiar with your games, but are here in the Tezos ecosystem and want to support you in what you're doing, what's the best way for us to do that?
So for Tezos ecosystem, the best way to support our project is to follow us, to stay in our channel so they can be up to date. We're gonna launch a public round for all those people that think it could be potentially something good. We're also starting with very low, fully diluted valuation. I don't know if many of your listeners know what this is, but generally, we don't believe in those valuations that are put in the current moment in the industry, like hundreds of millions or 1 billion for something. I remember the days when Ethereum was like 28 million fully diluted valuation. They started with this valuation, and Swan, I think they also started with very small valuation, and a lot of other projects started with those.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not the big fishes that joined very early won a big share of their investments, but the normal users.
Okay. And just to bring it back again, what part do you think, you personally, being a gaming guy, being a person who's very familiar with cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, what part do you think blockchain technology will play in the gaming experience of the future?
So I think it would be a main part. I cannot say it would be only blockchain games out there, but I think it would be the main part. If we are 1% of the users, and for example, I'm not sure how many Web3 gamers are, but they're not more than 10 million, for example, something like this. And if we are 1%, so you can multiply it by 100 and you will see how much blockchain, what is the potential, let's say in 10, in 20 years for the blockchain games.
Okay. And what's next for Nikolai Mitev and the Sugarverse team? Do you have any other exciting rollouts or announcements in the works?
For the Sugarverse team, I'm very focused on the launching of our token, and there is a lot of things in every day. I have a lot of meetings with different kind of people from the legal team, for the partnership team, for the marketing team. So we should stay well funded so we can build good products, and this is our main aim.
Okay. We could go on all day, but unfortunately we're almost at the end here. To our viewers, thanks so much for joining us today. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our social media contacts can be found at tezoscommons.org/TezTalks. We'd love to hear from you. Nikolai, thanks so much for joining us today. It's always awesome to speak to the folks building cool gaming projects like Sugarverse here in the Tezos ecosystem and helping Tezos lead the way in the blockchain gaming space. Is there anything else that you would like to mention or get to before we sign off here?
I should say I thank you for the invitation, joining TezTalks, and let's see what the future comes and join Sugarverse.
Yeah, and we would love to have you back on once the game is released and once people are interacting with it, and then demo the actual gameplay.
Definitely.
To everyone out there in Tezos land, thanks for joining us on TezTalks Live. I'm Stu from the Tezos Commons, and our awesome guest has been Nikolai Mitev, co-founder and CEO of Sugarverse. Now let's go explore the Sugarverse.